This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications. KHQA, working for you.
And this is Saturday, August the 13th, and we are so very happy to welcome you back into Overtime. Know that we are here for you if you have finally wearied of competitive dressage, international freeze tag, or Olympic water treading. That's what we do. Good to be back doing our thing here as well tonight and every Saturday from now through June, bringing you the best in local sports exclusively. Now, tonight is largely about setting the table for the fall sports season ahead. If you love high school football, we will unveil our preseason power poll, profile the team atop the gridiron food chain for this season, and barnstorm a couple of sleepers for you. Also, we've got a nationally ranked team to talk about away from the gridiron. And tonight we also check in with Quincy High volleyball for the first time in the post-Christ era. But we start tonight with some still unfinished business on the baseball diamond. The Quincy Gems, West Virginia Miners playing game 2 of the best of 3 series for the Prospect League Championship. Great start for the Miners again in this one. Austin Norman at bat. Taylor Hilson collides with Reed Sprinkle behind the plate, dropping the ball, made it 1-0 Miners. Later, Tanner Levine going to leave the yard right here to deep right center field. That, my friends, ruled a home run. It's 3-0 Miners at that point, but they're not done. Mountain Mama, take me home to West Virginia. How about Dan Ward right here with an RBI double to extend the lead to 4-0. No quit in the Gems from start to finish in this one, however, and the comeback would begin courtesy of Michael Nielsen right here with a 2-run jack that halves the lead at 4-2. The very next at bat is Scotty Sanders. And in very similar fashion, Mr. Sanders is going to go back-to-back jacks for Jack and Mokina, who wins a free car or something. I don't know how it works out. 4-3 at that point. Then later, Houston loser, 2 at-bats later, loses one to deep left field, tying the game up at 4 apiece. Back and forth we'd go. New ball game in this one. It would go to extra innings, but the Gems magic finally runs out tonight. 3 runs in the 11th. The difference in this ball game as West Virginia is your Prospect League champion in a game just completed. 9-6 is how that one will shake down on the day. How about some bad news on the day as well for Luke Guthrie, since we're talking about the Gem City. Quincy's finest today, struggling again at the John Deere Classic. Again, had to complete the final 14 holes of his round today after the weather delays the last 2 days. It was not a good affair for Luke. He finished 2 over on the day and 2 over overall, missing the cut. So Luke Guthrie walks away, will not be around for the rest of the weekend. Well, for the first time since the glory days of Blue Devil basketball, Quincy High School is home to a nationally ranked athletic power. Just don't expect this soccer crew to have the same kind of, what do you want to call it, intimidation factor walking off the bus as the Douglas Payne set. Put delicately, this group collectively is a bit on the diminutive side when you look at these guys. Maybe the only real sling or arrow you can point to at this squad otherwise, which seems to be reaching its powers as we speak.
Well, definitely after last year having Noakes, he won every single ball for us. We're not going to be as good in the air, but we'll definitely win a couple. We'll surprise some people in the air.
Our speed makes up for a lot of it. It just makes it a lot easier when we're all fast and we can work the ball around, play through balls, and it just works all together.
I have not had a quicker team. I've had quicker players, but I've not had a quicker team. We're very good defensively. We're very quick offensively, and the speed up front. We knew that would be the big asset coming back this year as our midfield and forwards. But I am even more impressed with what we've done defensively for what we've lost. So you take that combination, put it together, it was just a matter of 21 games this summer, getting used to it.
Although hand-wringing aside about stature, the team that isn't quote-unquote tall enough more than measures up as an exhilarating soccer thrill ride in its own right this fall. Speed is an obvious outlier, so too the presence here of the ultimate pitch point guard, if you will. All-American candidate and center midfielder J.D. Sohn.
His ball skills, his knowledge of the game. I can remember the first year in Burlington when he was a freshman, and we decided to say, you know what, let's just give him a chance, and he proved himself. And ever since that day, his game has even excelled a little bit more.
Well, we try to play through him as much as we can, obviously, because he's an All-American for a reason. So we play him as much as we can, and we just try to play off him. And if he's not open, we try to create our own.
But I also think that the pieces around him are just as important as what he does, because he doesn't do it all. He's not that type of player. When he has the opportunity to win the ball, he wins it. when that opportunity is to get rid of it, he gets rid of it. He's very good at understanding the game, and it showed last year with his 16 assists. And I'll take 16 assists from that position any time of the day. That means there's 16 goals that other kids have scored.
Yeah, after losing a couple of seniors, we want to go back to state. So I think as individuals, we all need to step up and look to be leaders.
With losing Riley Roth, we thought it'd be a big hit to us, but we've got the guys to step up and put the ball in the back of the net.
How good can this front line be and those guys that you're feeding be up top?
Oh, they can be deadly. Just get them the ball, and most of the time they're putting it in the back of the net.
On paper, the real questions for Quincy High moving forward are at the back, and in particular in net.
And we've got Ron Bridle back helping as goalkeeper. We lost our goalkeeper coach from last year, and Ron has put them through, and he's coming in with a fresh mind. He knows nothing about any of these kids, and he's the one that has put them through the drills and said, hey, here's your number one keeper as of right now. And Mark Cleveland is that kid, but he's got a lot to do. It's not his. He's got to earn it, and there's other kids pushing him for that.
And while concepts like defending state runners-up and national rankings are kind of artificial constructs, the Devils have been able to keep it all smartly in perspective.
I don't know. It's a big target on our back, so we all have to just play as a team, play together, and go through game by game.
As much as I hate to say this, I'm glad the U.S. women team lost, because that's exactly what I'm going to say. Your rankings mean absolutely nothing unless you go out and prove it to yourselves. And look what happened to our women. Nobody would have thought that would have happened. So it couldn't have come at a better time. I'm happy for the program. I'm happy for the community. I'm happy for our school. It's a tribute to what those kids did last year. Now we just have to carry that on.
And if you are not a fan of soccer, these guys will win you over. It is fast break, it is fun, and it is incredibly well executed. You got to go out and see the Blue Devils this season. They are certainly worth the price of your ticket. Moving on now, T-minus 6 days and counting until the first Friday night under the lights in Northeast Missouri. One last preseason heat check of sorts tonight on the Jamboree circuit as Paris, West Tran, and Knox County ventured to Shelbina to do the 12-play round-robin thing. Tough night for Gary Crochet and the Coyotes, who lost their probable starting tailback Trenton Brandel tonight to a likely broken collarbone just 5 plays in, which is the double-edged sword of postseason, or I should say preseason ball. Let's take you there and check out some of the highlights tonight. First session tonight between South and Paris. South Shelby's first team defense shining. It's the guys you'd expect. Anthony Schaefer, big fella healthy with the quarterback sack right off the bat there. Then Orion Jarman coming strong as well with a second quarterback sack on Brett Miller. Things would get better for Paris. Final 4 plays of the series, they scored twice on South Shelby's second team defense, the second of which spectacular. Brett Miller, sprinter extraordinaire at quarterback. He's going to tuck, he's going to go, and no one is going to catch him. 40 yards of goodness there. So Paris got the first 2 touchdowns in the series, but again, grade them accordingly because they did come against the Cardinals' second team defense. Meanwhile, here comes South Shelby against the first team Paris defense. Great hit right here. It's going to be Jacob Green with the hit. And a great recovery as well at the other end. Couldn't get a number on the kid who recovered the fumble, but nice defense there. South Shelby would answer, though. Mr. McKenzie doing his thing from 3 yards out, scoring on the first team Paris defense, but South Shelby only scored once. Want to show you this because it was spectacular. West Tran's Chris Evans, phenomenal catch right here against Knox County for the only score between the two teams in that game. Knox County 2 loose sessions early and then heated up against Paris big time in this one. Hayden Miller, the probable all-state candidate. Look at him go right there. 40 yards on the first play from scrimmage. That was good. And then check out the setup job right here by Mr. Van Delft calling plays. Again, Miller, no, it's the double inside handoff. And there goes Noah Talton, the speedster as well. Not just for basketball anymore. Great take for him as well. Another 40-yard touchdown there. Again, we do it all for real with everybody in Northeast Missouri starting next Friday. And coming up, I guess a little earlier this week, we've got our first full expanded tourisms to preview everything for you. Again, that's coming up a little later this week, but coming up straight ahead here on the big show, we're going to give you a sneak peek of our preseason power poll and Barnstorm with the #1 team atop it and a couple of big sleepers. That's straight ahead when overtime continues.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
Welcome back to Overtime, everybody, and happy Boogie Cousins' birthday day, everyone, as well. You knew I had to work that in somewhere. Well, as is our tradition here every August, we grant you, our loyal Overtime viewers, the first glance at the annual KHQA preseason pigskin power poll with a slow reveal tonight. And we start at the top of the list, our pick for the team we think has the best chance to title come November. And it's probably really not much of a surprise. 14 starters returning from an unbeaten league champion, possible Conference Player of the Year picks on both sides of the football in Clayton Marty and Sam Hayescamp, which means it's probably time for one of the great joys of this, my job, an audience with Earl.
We returned probably 7 or 8 kids that started or played as much as the starters from a year ago defensively, and we're pretty close to that offensively. We have a lot of our skill kids back and a couple of our key linemen, so we're starting in a pretty good spot in terms of experience.
Biggest question mark for you guys, a lot of people from the outside looking in said quarterback, but you think you found some answers there, haven't you?
Clayton Simpkins, who was our JV guy last year, has really come on for us and is doing a great job with the stuff that we do in our offense. Very smart kid, makes the reads really well in our triple option stuff, and can throw the ball as well.
You're diverse out of the backfield, and I know some of that starts with Clayton and what he's able to do to kind of set everything else up.
Of course, we have Clayton back, who was our leading rusher a year ago, but we also returned Tyler Dorman. Will split time with Clayton, and I think he's going to be a nice change up there. He's about 195 pounds, so we have 2 big kids there at fullback.
Your offense best when you can kind of mix and match and kind of pull people apart with your ability to do that?
We've got 5 kids that I think will occupy our 2 halfback spots. So we've got a lot of kids, a lot of depth at halfback as well. And we've got 4 or 5 kids I think that can play the wide receiver spot. So we're pretty excited about the diversity of kids and the depth we have at those skill positions.
Coaches I've talked to so far in the conference think this might be one of your better lines.
We think we're going to be pretty good up front. We're pretty big, and we've had a great year in the weight room.
You're a guy who loves fast linebackers, and you've done that for years, and that's kind of been your hallmark. To be able to do those guys and to run those quicker linebackers as you're behind really good-sized linemen, it's like a Sam Hayescamp. It's a luxury.
It is a luxury, and we have Sam Hayescamp occupying one of our defensive ends and Trey Taft, who's no small guy, at the other one. And we've got a couple of pretty good nose guards on top of that, and we return our linebackers almost intact from a year ago.
Everybody wants to shackle you with conference favorite after last year and what you return. I know you're not big on ever that talk anyway, but it's going to be a really interesting year in your conference.
It should be, and there's always going to be good teams in our conference. I look for Palmyra to be good again. People say how many kids they lost, but I know what they were like at the lower level, and I know how many kids they were able to play and how deep they went into playoffs. So those kids have a lot of experience. I know Brookfield will certainly have kind of the same deal. They went pretty deep in the playoffs, and those kids were bound to get a lot better because they got an extra 3 or 4 weeks of football. On top of that, Clark County returns a lot of kids, and I thought those guys by the end of the year were a pretty good football team, and I certainly would be remiss if I didn't say something about Highland. The quarterback alone is very difficult to deal with, and we have to play him right off the bat.
Indeed they do. So there's your answer. Centralia is our number 1, and it is a Northeast Missouri sweep atop the top 3. Really think very highly of Hannibal despite their graduation losses. There are in some ways the Pirates will be better this season. I kid you not. Very good team, but a very tough schedule. They are number 2 on the list. Palmyra looks like, from what I've seen between jamboree footage and a barnstorm visit, the best team we've ever had to lose 19 starters. I mean, Palmyra has reloaded and reloaded nicely, and every time we've seen them, we've ratcheted them up. It's Palmyra. They've got it going. Kevin Miles has his program in great shape right now, so we're going to roll the dice and say, despite all the graduation losses, Palmyra is going to be the real deal. Their problem is they've got to get through a conference and a district with Centralia staring them right in the face now as a Class 2 program as well. Meanwhile, number 4, Brown County. Until you beat the man, they are the man right now. And Brown County's got the best player right now in the WIVC in Carter Lewis. Got a lot of nice alternative pieces around him. Brown County is really good. So too is Unity Payson as we move up the list. They've got to prove they can win that red letter game. On paper, Unity Payson might have the most complete team in the WIVC. at least in the north, and maybe in the whole WIVC. But again, they got to beat Brown County to prove they're for real. I really like Quincy High School, as you saw yesterday on the Barnstorm. West Hancock has moved up nicely. Quincy Notre Dame, who I got a chance to see today, probably not real happy about being below West Hancock in the rankings. You'll hear more from them coming up on Monday night when we barnstorm with the Raiders. Also on that list, Mark Twain, Camp Point Central, Jacksonville, who we will barnstorm with tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, and a Monroe City team that I think has a chance to be pretty good. Although, if you look at the other side of things, I like Scotland County an awful lot as well, especially last night coming off the Jamboree. I think Scotland County is one of the great sleepers in our area. I've got them 13, got Highland 14. They're not a sleeper to anybody anymore. You know what Andrew Schultz is. You know from last night what Keaton Johnston is at wide receiver. You know that defense is pretty good, and you know Drew Clucky is a heck of a running back. I've got Illini West coming off a 2-win season, making the biggest improvement in our area, and I still think Central Lee's in the top 16. You will get the whole list coming up later this week on Doorisms. Let's talk right now about a sleeper as well, a team that from play to play can go from spread offense to full house backfield and do it with great aplomb, a sleeper off your radar.
We're trying to take advantage of everything that we have. We've got running backs that can run the ball. We got a quarterback that can throw, some receivers that can catch. So we're just trying to make it even for everybody and take advantage of the situation.
Last year we were kind of new to everything because of the new coaching staff. Everything was a little bit, new and kind of rusty. But this year we worked out the kinks, and I think we're really a lot more smoother this year.
There are a lot of moving parts still in play here, but if the sparkle in offense does indeed sync up, it will be a nightmare to have to defend. On paper, the skill position pieces are enviable and augmented by a potential impact transfer in the backfield from Macomb. Not to mention better weight room hewn physicality in the trenches.
It feels a lot nicer. We have a few linemen this year, and it's looking pretty good. I'd like to have that lineman up there. We didn't really have it in past years.
We might not have the biggest of linemen, but if you get lower than the other person and if you actually work harder and you go faster, then you're going to beat anybody. It really doesn't matter about size.
Having bigger bodies up front definitely gives me a lot of confidence, and I'm sure it gives the guys behind me as running backs a lot more confidence to run behind them.
We got Keegan back. We got Kyle Ferguson back. We have a move-in now with Trey Augusta. He's here. And we've got even a young Ferguson that's going to be – we got all kinds of running backs that can run the ball, and that's nice to see.
Ultimately, it will be the continuing development of 6'4" triggerman Devin Yoakum that is the X factor in moving BWP to the next level.
Sure, Devin, he's trying to better himself. He's been to a couple camps this summer. He's just trying to get better all the time, and we just want to take advantage of that too.
How good can you guys be this year?
I think we could get the playoffs week 10 or 11. That's for sure.
Last year we were kind of iffy, but we've worked a lot over the summer to improve ourselves. And I think we're a lot better now than what we were last year.
Your conference didn't get any easier, obviously, with everything that happened.
No, it did not get any easier. I mean, we pulled in a Illini West, which I'm glad to see. I like the competition. I want to play some good teams. We don't want to play anybody that's not going to help us in the playoffs if we get there.
Not hard to squint your eyes and see maybe a team that makes a Unity Payson type move right there in Bushnell West Prairie. Now, given the tradition of their program, Triopia isn't sliding under anyone's radar, but the recent peaks and valleys of the program have been weirdly incongruent with the program's very storied past. Can Rich Thompson and the crew in the powder blue get it back on track? Nico Hefflinger went barnstorming for answers.
Let's go. For the Trojans to get back to the dominant team of years past, defense is crucial. A large group of starters returning should help remedy a defense that allowed 25 points per game last season.
We feel pretty good about our secondary. All those guys returned for us. They were juniors last year. So Isaac Wearies, Blake Richardson, Austin Martin, and newcomer Michael Burns really bolster our secondary. We feel like we've got good speed to clean everything up back there. So we're looking for big things out of those guys.
I think on both sides of the ball, speed is really going to help. We're really quick. We have a bunch of really fast guys. So just getting wide and being able to run people down and shut them down, hopefully that'll help us out a lot.
Well, one of the big things is just give everybody on the field giving everything they have. That's the most important thing, and definitely if you do that, most of the things that we want will fall into place.
Attaboy, same thing here.
One thing that could help things fall into place, particularly in terms of scoring, could be quarterback Isaac Wearies. Not only a member of that strong secondary, Wearies enters his senior season with 3 years of starting varsity experience running the offense.
It's really exciting, especially this being my third year out here. I'm feeling pretty confident about running it. So I really like the guys. We have a lot of team speed, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it.
It's a big plus to have him back. It's just like having a nice, experienced offensive line. there's a comfort zone there. There's a comfort zone with the rest of the players. He's doing a lot better job this year of taking charge, changing plays at the line of scrimmage, understanding our playbook, and we've been able to expand our playbook. So we're feeling pretty good about what Isaac brings to the team for us.
The mental element is ever strong in the game of football. Triopia feels a return to glory is within its reach and confidence is key.
I think the number one thing is just a winning mentality. We've kind of had a little doubt in ourselves lately. And I think to a man, the kids have expressed that in the goals that they've written this year and what we've talked about individually. We had a really good weight room session in the off season. I think they're hungry, you know, but with that, we understand the conference is very good and it's going to be a battle every week. So if we get the effort that we're asking for, that's all that I can ask, and I think good things will happen.
We just got to get back to what we've been doing years before and just get that tradition going again.
We have to get that edge back, that mentality of how we were before. You know, we need to shut people down on defense and just play our game, and I think we'll be fine.
Well, they have been at the heart of Quincy High volleyball one way or another for the better part of 2 decades and change. But this year, both Barb and Mike Christ have stepped away and commissioned a new era for Blue Devil Spikes. Nico Hefflinger introduces us to the new boss and the far from bare arsenal she inherits.
The adjustment's been really good. I think the girls have done a really good job. It's a lot of hard work. We had to impress her to begin with. We all had to earn our spot, so it's been a lot of dog fights on the floor lately.
Like Sydney said, we need to impress her, so it makes us work harder as a team, not only as individuals.
With a new coach, she doesn't know where any of us play, so we definitely have to earn our spots, show what we have, and I think that's, like Sid said, brings out the dog fights, and we've definitely had many battles.
Anytime we can get competition amongst our own girls, that's great. It pushes everybody to play better and be better.
The players feel a strength this year will be chemistry, which in a sport with as many moving pieces as volleyball is essential to success.
This group, we didn't really have like a strong coming back, like starters returning, so we really had to mesh, and I think that's really came close with us. We all are really close this year.
I think it's a great deal of fun. Every practice we always come laughing. I mean, we get along with each other, and I think that that's what makes it fun the most is the team.
On the coaching side, Ricketts feels the Blue Devil depth will be the crucial element.
We have so many girls that can hit the ball and hit the ball well, and kind of at the beginning of the summer it was figuring out where we could fit all those swings in. So once we got that figured out, I think that'll be a huge strength for us.
Now comes the challenge of getting past the ever-elusive regional and adding postseason to regular season glory.
Not getting past regionals the past couple of years has been rough, so as our senior year, that's really our goal.
It's our senior year this year, so we're just super excited and we're ready to go through regionals.
Good-looking young team there as well. We will get to some of the other volleyball and other fall sports in our area over the next week, and we've got just a few more football teams to wrap up as well. That's it for me, everybody. Good to have Overtime back. Thanks for staying up late with us. Next week, full go, starting on Friday with Sports Final. Snap Judgments are back. Dualisms is back. Overtime now back right here. A complete wrap-up of Week 1 and some other goodies for you to take in as well. Please join us every Saturday at 10:30 when you can stay up and when you can get together with us and make it happen, because we certainly enjoy the time together. That's it for me, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great week.